NC State Wolfpack. They have been a well-oiled machine under head coach Dave Doran going into the 2024 season. They have won a winning record in 9 of the 10 years before this past year, where they had a 6-7 record overall. Both the offense and the defense share the blame. They're outside the top 85 in terms of EPA per play. There is some optimism, though, for 2025 as quarterback C.J. Bailey is back for a sophomore campaign after a really good true freshman year. And NC State also has a top 5 tight end in the country and some really solid pieces defensively. But Don, I just mentioned right there, a quarterback at C.J. Bailey who's really impressive and a star tight end too.
Yeah, he impressed as a true freshman last year, Bailey did, and he's a long, lanky, tall pocket passer. He can move a little bit, but you're going to see him more so succeeding, I think, from the pocket. I think he's got to just fill out his frame a bit. He's got this lanky build where he's got to put his whole body behind the delivery, but if he did that, you look at a 74.3 passing grade last season as a true freshman. I don't see a whole lot wrong with that. There's a lot of talent to work with him. And then you talk about Justin Joly at tight end, who, especially at UConn before and then last year at NC State, does so many things after the catch, doesn't he? I think that's the big appeal to him. Yards after catch, missed tackles forced. He makes even some contested catches. So I think that's a duo that's going to be worth looking out for. We got some questions at wide receiver without Kevin Concepcion, but when you have a young quarterback with a lot of talent and a tight end who can make a lot of easy throws, he can turn easy throws into explosive plays, you got some potential on offense.
Yeah, C.J. Bailey had the best passing grade of any true freshman quarterback last year with a 74.3 passing grade. That was better than DJ Lagway. That was better than Dylan Raiola too. So, I'm really excited to see what he could do as an encore as a sophomore. So Joly is a star tight end. I am worried about the receiver position, wide receiver position for NC State, though, because Casey Concepcion transferred to Texas A&M. He's a top 10 receiver in the country. Noah Rogers is back, and he actually led all NC State wideouts last year in receiving yards, but he had fewer than 500 receiving yards last year and a 65.6 receiving grade. Wesley Grimes and Terrell Anderson both had below a 65 PFF grade as well. So without Concepcion there, I'm a little worried about wide receiver for NC State this year.
Agree with that, and you hope you have weapons on the outside who can allow Bailey to make those quick rhythm throws out there, right? It can't all go to Justin Joly unless he's as good as Tyler Warren was at Penn State last year, but we're not going to make bets on that right now. I think what you have with what he's going to have to maybe elevate those guys on the outside. Now, he might have the ability to do so because he had a good true freshman year, 14th in the FBS in adjusted completion rate, right? Top 20 intermediate passing grade. I think he throws with really nice touch. He's very decisive, and I think, again, he just got to add more muscle to this frame. And I shouldn't say he's not just a pocket passer, right? He's built like a pocket passer, and that's where he's going to succeed most of the time. But he did also force 28 missed tackles on 81 carries last year. So not a blazer, but a guy who does have enough mobility. For me, as with any young guys, any of the younger freshman quarterbacks, two things. Don't stare down your first read, right? 4.6% turnover-worthy player. So he had that passing grade, a solid passing grade, even with the second highest turnover-worthy play rate in the ACC. And one of the big things as a runner, skinnier guy, dynamic athlete, I get it. He wants to lay it on the line for his team, especially as a freshman. Don't take so many hits. 8 fumbles last year and kind of limited work. Don't take so many hits. Run out of bounds. I get it. Love the competitiveness. Absolutely loves it. I should say I absolutely love it. Just have to be a little safer with the football. But we get that with a lot of young guys, right? You could get a jump in ball security in year 2. You could get a jump in reading the defenses in year 2, but he's got enough talent to really be something for this team. I think especially for me, the touch and timing that he throws with from the pocket, he's got a lot of ability. I really liked what I saw from Bailey last year.
Especially because he entered the year as the backup, and then Grayson McCall had to medically retire due to concussions. And so Bailey was thrown in there as a true freshman, and he performed pretty admirably as a true freshman, right? And a guy like Dalton mentioned he should be targeting a lot in that offense is Justin Joly, his tight end. Joly transferred to NC State from UConn last year, and he remained one of the top receiving threats at tight end despite the jump up in competition level. 661 receiving yards this past season, 5th among all tight ends in the Power 4, and he was 6th in the country with 11 contested catches and 12 broken tackles after the catch, too. Over the last 2 years, he has 1,247 receiving yards. The only 2 tight ends who had more in that stretch were Harold Fannin Jr. and Tyler Warren. He's an elite athlete. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. He separates at a very, very high level, Not a great blocker, as you would imagine, for tight end that size, but he's a really dynamic receiver at the position.
Feels like the type of player that every offense has now, right? It's just one of these undersized-ish tight ends. Everyone's obviously looking for the next Harold Fannin Jr., but he's been doing it for multiple years. You saw him do it at UConn for a couple of seasons, and last year, even despite the quarterback issues, Jolie's a really good player. He's going to get a lot of touches in this offense.
Who was their star defensive player?
You know, they got a corner transferred up from Villanova last year, Devin Marshall, who is an absolute ball hawk. 13 forced incompletions, was the second most in the Power 4, a 74 coverage grade. This NC State team the last couple of years has had a very solid secondary, and they just keep adding pieces to it. Devin Marshall's another one who, look, you know, there's times where he's going to take his chances, right? But when you talk about a guy that forces incompletions at that high a rate and can break on the football the way that he does, it gives you a lot of hope that this secondary is going to be good once again.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Justin Jolie go from UConn to NC State, still be a great player. Devin Marshall go from Villanova, the FCS level, to NC State, still be a great player too. So really cool to see those two guys really be the stars of NC State's offense and defense right now. Dawn, what is the bottom line for this team? Their win total right now is set at 6.5 for the NC State Wolfpack after a 6-7 record this past year. Like I said before, though, they had a winning record in 9 of the 10 years before this past season. So will they bounce back in 2025, or will it be another so-so year for NC State?
Yeah, they won 6 games last year with all the quarterback turmoil that they had, and they lost. Well, the fun one, did you see this with Dave Doran recently talking about their first opponent, East Carolina? Because they lost their bowl game to East Carolina.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I think there was the big fight sometime at the end of the game.
I think so, yeah.
Right? And the recent quote about, they were talking about that first game, and it's on the Thursday night of week 1. He goes, "Oh, I want to beat the shit out of that team." I was like, oh, so Dave Doran's a little irritated with the Pirates, but hey. The Pirates went out there and won the game. They beat them in the bowl game. It is what it is, and that's really why they didn't have a winning season right there. So we get an immediate rematch from what's suddenly a fierce rivalry between East Carolina and NC State. But no, I think I'm going to take the over 6.5. I mean, they've got a reputation for at least having winning seasons. I don't know with such a young quarterback right now that they're in contention for the ACC title game, but I think 6.5 is a reasonable standard. I mean, you look at this schedule right now, could easily start 3-0.
Yep.
Very well could start 4-2 or 5-1. We'll see where the schedule gets tougher in the middle. Notre Dame, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Miami. But I think 7 wins is realistic. I do think that's realistic, and they just have to, now that they're committed to Grace C.J. Bailey. Sorry, I was mixing it up with Grayson James.
Yeah.
All these new quarterbacks that come in midseason with C.J. Bailey. Now that they've had the full offseason and he's just their guy instead of all of Grayson McCall and all that hanging over him, I think 7's realistic. I'll take an over. They're solid.
I'll go under. I think this is a pretty tough schedule looking at it.
Got to get off to a good start. I think they could start 3-0.
Yeah.
3-0 and then go 4-5 the rest of the way is what I'm looking at, and there's another win in there against an FCS team. So I think I'm in. I'll get them to squeak over 7, maybe 8. This is a team that's just always solid. Win one or two of these 50-50 games. Get yourself in
actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm going over. I recounted it. I think I counted it wrong. So yeah, I'm going to go over 6.5. I think we'll get to 7-5. I don't know about more than that, but I think 7-5 is possible for this team. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.